Hello there. We are back for another Flame Central podcast powered by Alcova Mortgage.
Bam.
Joe is actually dressed to the nines.
We have mugs.
We have mugs.
Yak talk.
Excuse me. I have a little Band-Aid on my pinky because I sliced through it cutting an avocado.
Hey, it's Yak Talk, baby.
It's Yak Talk, baby.
Oh,
Cheers.
hey,
Oh, excuse me. Oh, wait, can we get it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wait, let me get a boomerang. Do that again. No, I'm kidding. We have a lot to get to. You don't even know what a boomerang is.
You want another shrimp on the Barbie? We're talking Australian phrases here. Yeah.
That's a good Dumb and Dumber quote.
It's Yak Talk,
Australia. It's Yak Talk, baby. It's the Flame Central podcast. It's powered by Alcova Mortgage. We also have Athletics Director Ian McCaw on the show, so he'll join us a little bit later. But first, I want to tell you about a segment that we're going to do a little bit later in the show. Last week, we gave you our email address, which is probably the worst idea because it is blown up. Flame Central
at liberty.edu.
At liberty.edu.
Simple.
We want to hear from all of you.
Any questions you have about
you know what?
anything.
Tell the folks what they get. Go ahead, tell the folks.
Well,
Okay, just give me a second.
Tell the folks.
If there's criticism of this podcast, send it our way.
Yeah.
We want to improve. We care about you.
EA Austin.
No, it's not. That actually isn't. So don't. That's the wrong address. So I'm not gonna. I just don't want them to send it, and then it's not gonna.
Yahoo.com.
AOL.
But if you want to send that, we're always looking to improve. Those will go straight to junk mail. But we just wanted to point that out there.
Send if you had a comment about me, you can send it to the Google machine.
Right.
At ymail.com.
They'll know where to find it.
They'll know.
So, just to let you know, if you send in some questions, we're going to review those a little bit later in the show. The best question is going to win.
Yes.
You guessed it.
Tell the folks.
Yak Talk.
Tell the folks.
Alcova Mortgage. And then you're going to submit a picture of you with the Yak Talk mug if you win. And then we're going to put it as the mug shot.
Mug shot of the week.
The mug shot of the week. I mean, come on, people.
See, but here's the thing.
Can it get any better than this?
The folks need to understand. The folks need to understand. This is a Cup of Joe. The Cup of Joe 4.0. It's the fourth version.
Oh my
gosh. It's a Cup of Joe 4.0.
Yeah, Cup of Joe.
A Cup of Joe.
Yeah, it's a
Your
Cup
name
of Joe
is Joe
4.0. And once you receive, I'm glad you explained that to the folks.
Yeah.
Once you receive the Cup of Joe 4.0, this then gets you into what they call, Matt, tell the folks.
The circle of trust.
You're in the circle of trust.
Yeah, you're in the circle
and
of trust.
once you're in the circle of trust, you get all everything that comes with it, powered by Alcova
We
Mortgage.
don't only just talk about Joe and his Yak
but
Talk
most
mugs,
of the time.
but most of the time we do. We're also
fair.
going to transition into some more important things.
Yeah.
Basketball, some big games with Liberty Hoops. Let's start on the men's side.
Yeah.
2 big wins on the road.
How about the road trip?
Yeah.
So think about this to put it into perspective. Liberty goes to Jacksonville, where they have a 21-game home win streak.
It was a high school gym.
Yeah.
And the score was never posted throughout the game.
Did
Their
you like
graphics
it?
were not working. I liked how I post what's the score and Joe starts to actually post. You should have just done it. Like I thought about that after the fact. I'm like, maybe I should have just literally typed in the score and sent a tweet after every single basket.
That might have been too much. I was watching the ball.
Yeah.
You would have probably lost a lot.
And it said, what's the score?
Yeah.
And I said, it's 26-21.
Yeah.
It's at the half right now.
Yeah, thank you, Joe.
Really
but you snap a 21-game home win streak for Jacksonville. Then you turn around 2 days later, you go to North Florida. They had a 9-game home win streak, and Liberty had never won there. That was a place Liberty had never won during their time in the ASUN, and they go and get that win as well. And maybe most impressive in that win is Darius McGee shoots 4 of 20 from the field, and yet
still win the ball game.
Other guys step up and you win the ball game, because that's always the question, right? Ooh, what if Darius doesn't have a good game? And he didn't by his standards, and yet Liberty found a way to get a tough road win. And so they're sitting pretty right now, tied atop the conference standings.
I know, it's exciting, but 2 home games this week. Really going to need Flames Nation and the student body to come out for those games, because first Thursday night you have Stetson.
They're 6-2 in the conference.
6-2, and then Saturday
FGCU. They're really talented as well and play a lot of close games. So these are a couple of huge games. Right now, Liberty, Kennesaw State at the top of the conference. They play down there later in February. But you have a chance if you win these 2 to start kind of creating a little separation between yourself and everybody.
Now we're getting into the meat of hoops
that's
right
the meat
now.
of it.
Now we're in the meat of the schedule.
Yeah.
But I think you're right, Matt. The biggest takeaway is other guys stepping up without Darius. Because, look, there's going to be nights like this for Darius McGee. You got to keep shooting the ball.
Hard to believe, but he's human.
I know. It is hard to believe. But he does seem to make some of those shots were big-time shots when they needed that little boost. So I think that even though that he wasn't shooting the ball well, he's obviously going to keep shooting. They're going to be just fine. Having those other guys get some confidence and scoring to support.
Well,
and then Joseph and Zant.
13 rebounds, a career high.
Right.
Porter, career high, 9 assists on Saturday. And then Blake Preston, the 2 games he played, the guy needs to just get a timeshare in Jacksonville.
Right.
Because, like, he just loved it down there these last 2 ball games. Double-double Thursday night, goes for 17 points on Saturday. He's been huge for them here recently at being that kind of that guy in the middle. And, yeah, that's been exciting to watch him kind of take that next step as well.
Like I said, in just a moment, we'll go to Ian McCaw. Joe Yock has a hilarious question about a pickleball future in Division One, so you don't want to miss that. But first, a huge victory for women's basketball at home in OT. Final score is 88-78. The Lady Flames had a 20-5 run to finish the game.
Against FGCU.
Against FGCU.
Over this conference.
Have never beat FGCU. They did so on Saturday night. The Lady Flames were trailing by 5 points with 26 seconds to play.
Bam.
Emma Hess with a 3-pointer to tie it with 3 seconds to play. Just really cool to see the Lady Flames get this victory.
Well, a couple of things. Number one, that's just huge for confidence, right? Because you hope or you think you may well see them again come tournament time.
In the finals.
And just knowing we've done it before. That's big for confidence, right? And then talking about being down late, I will tell you right now, I don't know if I've ever seen a coach as good in those kind of situations as Kerry Green. Drawing stuff up, late game situations, like he is so good at freeing people up. Now, you know, make it, you don't. The execution part, you never know. But in terms of just drawing stuff up, late game situations to get a look, he is elite in that regard.
And, you know, the Liberty defense, these girls were really locking North Florida down. I'm sorry, FGCU down because they weren't able to get any good looks. So
what's the Flames' overall record right now?
Lady Flames
the
or
Lady
the Lady Flames? They are.
Where are we sitting at?
Right now we're in. Oh, let me pull up the whole conference standings. FGCU still atop.
Yep.
There's actually a 3-way tie. 3 6-1 teams. FGCU, Austin P, who Liberty plays Thursday on the road, and Lipscomb are 6-1. And Liberty's 5-2. So you're just a game
right
back.
there. Meet of the schedule.
4 teams right
We're
there.
in the meat.
You got a chance to still do this thing and maybe get the games all on your court come tourney time.
Yeah, it's exciting. I'm bummed I'm missing the 2 games.
Emily, by the way, for those that don't know, the men's basketball games coming up Thursday, Saturday. You will not see Emily on the broadcast. She will be once again gallivanting around the globe. Nope. She will be gallivanting around the globe. Now I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. Hey, wouldn't it make more sense to take these worldwide trips in the summertime when there are no sports? Well,
it's too hot.
You would think that, but no. Emily, we're on her schedule more so than she is on ours. If you haven't figured that out. So she will not be here this weekend.
Okay, or for the podcast next Monday. I'm just
I
letting the people know.
I didn't realize that.
I'm letting the people know if you don't want to tune in next week. I completely.
Boy, what a shame. That one really hurts.
Yeah.
Okay, before I quit the show and just this whole entire job in general, let's go to our conversation with Liberty Athletics Director Ian McCaw. If you're wondering who is the man behind all of the success of Liberty University, it's this guy right here, Athletics Director Ian McCaw. So great to have you on the podcast. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Emily. Appreciate
it. If you just want me to be in charge of answering or asking questions, these guys, they kind of go off the rails quickly. First things first is, what's going on during this time? You know, you just hired the new head football coach, Jamie Chadwell. Now that process is over, are you able to take a little bit of a breath?
No question, but it was a very intense week, and then a couple weeks afterwards as well, getting them integrated. But the new staff's settled in really well. I think they're hitting their stride. They're getting around to see other teams' games and support other programs, which has really been neat. And
I was at the hockey game the other day.
They were, So they're a great group. We've really enjoyed them.
I kind of compare it maybe to, I was thinking about this, like when you bring, Joe, you'll remember this, you bring your girlfriend home for the first time, right? And you're like, I like her.
Yeah.
But now I need to sell you all on her.
Right.
Like you're making that decision, going with Coach Chadwell, and then you're like presenting him to Flames Nation, be like, now I want you to like him as much as I like him. Do you feel like in this month or so, you've seen Flames Nation really kind of jump on board and be like, okay, yeah, he is our guy. Have you seen that?
Oh, no question. He's really been well embraced, and certainly start with our staff. And first staff meeting, he was there and had a chance to share a few words, so that went over really well. But again, it's been great seeing him get around campus, get to the other teams' events. And the thing I found about him during the process was very authentic, genuine individual, very easy to get to know and very easy to like. But he is a tremendous mission fit, really fits our mission, fits our culture. And that's the thing I'm especially excited about.
How, from the process of, you look at a place like Liberty where you had basically, 10 days from when Coach Freeze decided to leave until when you announced a new head coach. How difficult is that as an athletic director? Obviously, you're at a place, Liberty, where you got your first guy. Like you had your short list of people, I'm sure, and you're able to go out and get Chadwell quickly. But if you're an athletic director, some of these other schools with the transfer portal coming, I know that was one of the big things. You can enter the transfer portal with all the different things that you're trying to navigate there. Is there a solution to give universities more of a time to be able to, hey, to be able to vet some of these coaches where you don't have to make such a quick decision? Is there any type of solution to that?
Yeah, there needs to be a solution because December is really set up for failure right now because you have
That's a very good
you have the transfer portal, you have the early signing period, and then you have the coaching carousel, and they all hit exactly the same time.
Right.
And bowl games.
Right.
And bowl games. And
It's
so
crazy.
we literally had 1 week to do the search. And you're talking about search for someone who's the highest paid employee on campus, highest profile individual on campus, and you'd like to have a little more time than a week to get it done. And we're fortunate that again, Coach Chadwell, someone I'd been tracking for several years, and we'd done our homework on him, and he was somebody who, as it turned out, obviously was interested in this job as well. So it worked out really well. But if you were starting from scratch, it really would be impossible.
Do you have any of the ADs ever gotten together and like have a solution? Like, hey, we need to change the dates to this thing, or is there a solution?
Yeah, the NCAA has a football oversight committee, and they're gathering feedback right now on the calendar for college football, and so we'll be able to speak into that. And I think I'm not the only athletic director who thinks that. I think there are others that have the same concerns.
I think we just add a 13th month to the calendar. If we do that, that may be the only solution. Yeah.
And a lot going on in other areas of this university. The All-Purpose Center. Tell us a little bit about what to expect with that. It's open, but you just can't. Don't use the bridge.
You told me don't take the bridge.
Don't take the bridge.
Yet, so
Matt Warner is going to be hanging off that probably the end of the week. But
I'll save you, buddy.
Thanks,
I'll be there.
It'll be like Jack and Rose, at the end of Titanic. Matt will be hanging on. Joe will be, leaning over with his hand.
Comes I love you, buddy.
And then one of Joe's fans will be around the corner. Is that Joe with Alcova Mortgage? He's going to let Matt go. It's going to be a disaster. But tell us about this new All-Purpose Center. Yeah,
the Liberty Multipurpose Center, and it opened last week. So we had, I think, softball, baseball, soccer, lacrosse all got to get in there. But just a great full-size field, great venue for our teams during inclement weather, which we have in January here in Lynchburg. And we'll also use for club sports, intramurals, campus events. So it's going to be a great addition to the entire campus.
I've tried to keep track since I've been here in 3 years. And it's been a
All the
new
facilities,
basketball arena, the LFC football center, the multi-purpose center now. Additions to the Williams Stadium. Have I told you what our mascot should be? My joke?
Go ahead.
Okay. So instead of the Liberty Flames, we should be the Liberty Cranes.
There you go.
Because there's always a crane. It could be a bird. But there's
She has told that joke far more than you think she should.
That just went like doo-doo-doo.
Yeah.
But I mean, have you ever been at a
it.
university? Thank you. I do really like it. I'm not going to stop saying it either. At a university where just the resources are like they are here at Liberty, and really you get to do whatever you want.
Yeah, well,
or build whatever you want.
Yeah, the great thing about it is, that there's a big reason why we're the fastest growing athletic program in the country. And obviously, if we didn't have the resources from the university and the administration, we couldn't do it. And that's been facilities, it's been budgets, it's been salaries, and it's allowed us to move from the Big South to the ASUN to Conference USA, and really gives us just great potential into the future as well.
I'm glad you talk about that. How do you try to divide your attention? Because now with Conference USA era right on the horizon, but you've still got 1 foot in the ASUN and all these teams competing still in there the rest of the year. How do you try? What kind of challenges does that pose trying to hey, we still got focus here, but I also need to be paying attention to where we're headed?
Yeah, we're doing both. And you know, we've talked to our coaches. We want to finish well in the ASUN and have this be our best year ever. And we've got a lot of good results thus far. But we started last summer having, we call them Conference USA preparedness meetings. And so we've got an eye to the future and trying to figure out how we can step in year one, be really competitive and put good programs on the court and on the field. And we think we'll be able to do that.
What's the question you get most often from fans about the Conference USA era and what differences that may pose?
Yeah, you know, some talk about the competitive level, which should certainly be higher. A lot of talk, of course, about the television package, which is fantastic to have ESPN and CBS Sports as our partners. Novelty with some midweek football games, so a lot of conversation about that. So we'll play on a Thursday and then a Tuesday. So, but those will probably be two of the most watched Liberty football games in the history of the program. Just those midweek games get incredible ratings. So we're excited about that, and it's going to be just fantastic for the Flames.
Well, hopefully they'll have a good broadcast crew.
Right.
I don't know if you have any say on that,
Yeah,
but I
I know
don't have
you're gonna
anything
rack up
going
some
on.
frequent flyer miles being into Conference USA, like making some of those trips out west. Do you feel like, is that going to be one of the bigger challenges just in terms of across the board, just how much different travel will be, how much just sheer territory you're covering now?
Yeah, and that's something the presidents and the ADs are mindful of. So there's some strategies to minimize travel. And I think they've already started implementing that in some of the schedules that we're seeing for next year. And but you know, there'll still be occasion where we're going to Las Cruces and we're going to El Paso, and there's no way about it. Those are long trips, but we'll try to do those in as efficient a way as possible.
The food's good there too, though.
Food's
It
good.
is good.
Oh, yeah.
It is good.
What do you, when with Liberty's athletics, and you see some of the teams that are really starting to compete on a national level, you know, like the field hockey team a couple of years playing for a national championship. When you look at the broad picture of Liberty University and the athletic department, what teams specifically do you feel also are on the cusp of really getting to that next level of, say, where a field hockey, obviously that went really far, but to where a field hockey is? What teams like that maybe we don't know about that are right there?
Joe, we want every one of our 20 sports to compete on a national level. So we think everyone can compete for conference championship in CUSA if it sponsors a sport or another conference like the Big East for field hockey. And then once you do that, if you get the AQ, you're into the NCAA tournament, and now you're competing on the national level. So we think we can do it across the board, and certainly we're seeing it already in some sports. You mentioned field hockey. Certainly men's basketball is having a great year this year. Baseball's had a lot of postseason success, softball. You know, so we think we can do it. And then golf, and then obviously football, as we get into expanded CFP era, you know, compete for one of those 12 spots. So again, I think our best days are ahead of us, and I think we're just heading into the golden age of Liberty athletics.
There's been so much success from teams all across the board since you've been here. What do you think you're most proud of during your time here at Liberty?
Yeah, you know, I think we've built a really good culture in the department and a culture of excellence. And, you know, our vision is to train champions for Christ. That's Liberty's vision. To provide a high-quality student-athlete experience, athletically, academically, spiritually, socially. I think we're delivering on that, and that's really important. And then achieve victory with integrity. I think we're winning, and you're going to see even more of that, I think, in the future.
It was interesting when Coach Chadwell was hired, and we talked about this, he came out of the gates talking college football playoff.
Yeah.
Was that a big part of your pitch to him, or was that something that he kind of said to you early on, like, I think if I come here, we can do this? Because, like, that was out of his mouth not 30 seconds into his introductory press conference. And I think it's one thing to kind of think about that a little bit, but to hear those words, I think we were all kind of like, whoa.
We actually have it on loop in the office.
But I mean, listen, Liberty football especially has made such big steps in such a short amount of time. To hear him say that and really think about, like, wow, yeah, that could be a possibility. Like, how much of that was a part of the conversation between you two? Because those are, I mean, lofty expectations.
Yeah, Matt, when I knew we were on the same page is when I told him our vision is to compete for Conference USA championships and go to the CFP. And then he said it right back to me. He said that's what his goals are. I knew we were on the same page.
Yeah. Well, that's unbelievable. Like, let's go.
Awesome.
But with the expansion of the CFP, you have that opportunity. Like, if yes, you're not in a Power 5 conference, but this is part of the reason what it's designed for, is if you can run the table and you're there, you've got a legitimate, like, look at him at Coastal a few years ago. If it was around then, they probably would have gotten in, even though the Flames did beat them.
Right. Well,
But, we're not going to talk. But so that is a big part of the sell, isn't it? You have the opportunity being outside of the Power 5 schools.
You do, and you hope for one of those special seasons, and we had one a couple years ago too with Malik. But if we if we go 12-1, 13-0, we're in the mix for a CFP spot, and just think about the exposure that provides and the lift that gives your program. So that's something we aspire for.
Last question for me. You make the transition, right, from one staff to another. What is that like for you? Because I'm sure, you knew, hey, this staff, this is what's important to them. This is what I know they're going to want to talk to me about. Yeah. And now you transition to another staff. What's that been like? How have you tried to figure out in these, early days, like what you think you need to be successful? Because it may be different than what somebody else thought.
Yeah, it's really disruptive when you have a football change just because there's so many people. Yeah. I mean, it's not a head coach to a new head coach. You got assistants, you have support staff, recruiting staff, strength coaches. I mean, there's a lot of people involved. And so very disruptive event. So a lot of it comes down to making sure you're getting the right people in place, getting them acclimated, integrated into Liberty and our culture and our environment. And fortunately, we have a great situation for them to walk into, and then supporting them as you do that. So it's gone as well as it can, but it's a very disruptive event for sure.
I'm excited to meet the staff. We've obviously met Coach Chadwell, but just getting to know the new assistant coaches, I heard they're awesome. You see them at the men's basketball game, like,
they're all in.
Like they are reacting to plays like they're students. So I'm like, these are my kind of guys. So I'm excited.
Yeah, and it helps that they're going to be powered by Alcova Mortgage.
Well,
too.
yes.
Okay,
so before we let you go, I don't know
Joe
if
has a bit he likes to have.
If you want to look into camera one, please, Ian, and say the Flame Central podcast powered by Alcova Mortgage.
The Flame Central podcast powered by Alcova Mortgage. And by the way, you look pretty good today, Joe.
I know.
That's a nice looking
You know what? Hey, listen, I sent him a text message.
And I really appreciate that.
Last week he shows up in a tee for 3, like from the games, right? And I sent
something a cheerleader threw.
I said, Joe, please don't wear something that a cheerleader threw to you in the stands.
Just want to let you know, Emily always looks professional, right? But I just want to let you know that knowing that you were coming on the podcast, I put really Matt,
I could have.
Oh, but then all of a sudden I'm getting these texts about my dress.
Yeah.
Are you a pickleball guy?
Okay, no. Let me. Don't you see?
Oh my gosh, you are so dramatic. His emotions
Ian,
are all over
Ian, I have one more question to ask. Is there an opportunity? I'm just going to throw this out there. Okay, that the pickleball, fastest growing sport in America right now, is if when pickleball goes D1 at the NCAA level, it's going to happen. It's eventually going to happen. It will be powered by Alcova Mortgage. That's not the question that we're going to ask. The question is, can I be considered for a head coaching position at that time? And Matt Warner be my top assistant.
Coordinator?
Top assistant / recruiting coordinator.
Yeah, I think you'd have to be on the short list.
I think
we can make
it's a very short list right now.
It's really short list right now.
Yeah.
And I understand that you have transfer portal issues going on.
Right.
You got December's, and then when it all pickleball moves all over different coaches, and you may have to make a quick decision.
Right.
I just know that I'm willing to negotiate with you, and I think we can make something happen.
Good to know. Good to know. Yep.
But
where I go, he goes.
Right.
That's part of the deal.
Thank you.
I won't have the power to hire my own assistant.
Right.
You know what I am?
If you're going to
chicken scratch.
cook the meal, you want to be able to buy the groceries.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's so bad. It's like I'm not even part of this team, like whatsoever. You know what? I don't care.
Yeah.
Do you play though?
I play a little bit. I play tennis. I like tennis.
Oh, then you'll be natural.
Full blown, yeah.
We gotta
Coach Chadwell said he was like a middle school pickleball champion, so we got to get him out there and playing.
You have heard of the JPL though, have you?
I have.
Yeah.
My
Yeah. Everybody knows. Yeah.
You need to go over there and direct, whatever's going on in that league, because there's some Title IX issues. Don't get me started.
We do not follow Title IX guidelines
at all. At all. They call it the Masters, and it's just so wrong. But Ian, thank you so much. One more question from me. We've talked about everything that we've done here, or you've done, really. We haven't done anything.
He likes to take credit.
He likes to take a lot
between
of credit.
Facilities and all these team success. What's next? What's next for
biggest
Liberty?
thing, Conference USA. We're heading there fast. We're about 6 months away from stepping into it. So I think that's the future, and we're excited about it.
What about facilities? We're talking what's next on
We've
the
got
list?
a couple things.
Don't get bored. We don't want you to get bored.
No. Well, we're looking at doing a pitching lab for baseball. That's something Coach Jackson's vision. We're seeing some Power 5 schools that have that. And we're working on a golf practice facility as well to support that program. They've done an incredible job, nationally ranked, 3 straight trips to nationals. So those are 2 projects on the drawing board right now.
Unbelievable.
That is so exciting.
Just when you just like, I don't know, like well, what else is there possibly be out there?
No.
It's always
Don't you worry about McCaw. He's got it all under control.
I'm telling you, every single student athlete that I've interviewed about like their story and about like, oh, what's your story in connection with Liberty? And every single one, as soon as I get on campus, it's just the facilities. It's just unbelievable.
And even beyond that, the number of people we've talked to that maybe started out at a Power 5, like I'm thinking about some of the soccer girls we talked to that started out at an SEC school that end up here and they're like, this experience is so far and away better than anything I experienced at my previous school. And that speaks, obviously, the facilities and all that stuff, but the coaching staff, the people that you've hired and put in place, all the support staff, and just the people here at this school in leadership positions, like that speaks so highly to everything that's going on here that like they love being here, right? And most people on the outside, you say, well, would you rather be at an SEC school or Liberty? They say, oh, well, but that's not the case.
No, and it's interesting. That's one of the things we found with the transfer portal is that high school students, if they have an SEC, ACC offer, it's really hard to say no to that and yes to Liberty. But once they go and maybe it's not everything they hope for and they transfer to Liberty, they're just blown away. And same thing we hear as well, that facilities, culture, environment, people, it's a special place.
Awesome. One last question from me. And how many years have you been here now? 6. 6 years. So in your 6 years of being here, what has now you've been here a while. What has Liberty meant to you?
Yeah, you know, it's grown and changed so much. It's been just a blessing in my life. Just love the people. I've grown a lot through this experience. Obviously, I've been an AD for 19 years before I came here, but I've learned a lot. I've grown a lot, and it's just an incredible place. And until you're really here and part of it, you can't really appreciate it. It's really unique.
So true. Well, you can't leave. You're not going to ever leave, right? I need commitment.
She has issues with this. She has issues with this.
Don't leave me.
And I just want to let you know before we came on air here, I did talk to her fiance before,
oh my
and
gosh,
so he's a good guy. He's a good friend of mine, and so she's got some issues that she's trying to work through. We're not going to counsel on air right now.
Right, good.
Right?
Thank
but,
you.
Oh my
but
God,
Ian,
I am loved. I am important.
This is what we do. Now look at me.
I'm
You're
special.
special. People like
Ian
you.
has to go. He has so much to. No, but it is really a credit to you. As far as the coaches and the culture and like what these student athletes, what Matt was saying. Because I'm sure that's part of every coach's pitch, right? Like I care more about the athlete than I do winning. And I mean, people say that, but then it's really hard to do that when there's the pressure of winning. But I genuinely feel every single coach on this campus puts more into the student athlete and their future than the wins. And it's just so crazy how it still is leading back to winning, right? And it does go hand in hand, but it's just so cool to be a part of something like that with the athletic department that you've really put together.
Yeah,
so.
well, thanks for all the great coverage you guys give us. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, get with Conference USA in those midweek games. All right, Ian, thanks so much. We'll catch up with you soon.
Thanks, appreciate it.
I have to say, it takes a lot to come on the Flame Central podcast powered by Alcova Mortgage because you just never know what you're going to get. Of course, Ian McCaw, such a good sport. The pickleball question.
We try to plan this and try to, but you just never quite goes. Yeah, right.
I told you I'm trying to like be better about like pre-planning and researching.
I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna tell you what, Matt. If you and I were to head up a D1 pickleball program, we would bring home hardware.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they would be build another trophy case because Yock and Warner are bringing home more hardware.
And listen, I will say this. There might be a recruiting violation or two.
Sure,
I'm willing to push the envelope a little bit.
Sure,
you guys do not lack confidence, and I still
that's how you recruit.
We recruit really well.
Yeah, that's right.
It's kind of like when you go to Walmart and you're like, how does she have the confidence to wear that? I just want the confidence that she has to wear that.
Yeah.
And it's just like you guys have this confidence that I just don't understand.
I think it's wisdom you have. Not confidence. I mean, that's the discrepancy.
So Ian McCaw, it's just I don't think Flames Nation realizes how like blessed we are to have an athletic director. director like him, because his job is not easy. And I mean, you can see it, what he was able to bring in with Coach Chadwell in such a short amount of time. He's composed, he's intelligent, he's experienced, and I don't know. Am I bragging on him too much?
It's all the things you don't see that
me?
make him great. What did you say?
Just kidding.
But like,
No,
think about like all the short lists that he has
Right.
for his coaching staff. He told me that he'll actually go through kind of like a mock process every couple of years just to have himself ready for if a coach ever leaves, he's ready to dive in. So these are the things that great ADs do behind the scenes that you just don't even see or think about. It's constantly being in the moment and what needs to be taking place right now, but also constantly working on the 2, 3, 4, 5 years out to make sure you're prepared for whatever comes your way and however the college landscape may change. Because how many times now have we seen teams jumping conferences, moving?
Right.
You have to be ready to move with it. You can't be surprised by what takes place and miss out on a great opportunity.
And didn't he say that Liberty Athletics is the largest or fastest
growing, yeah.
athletics program? And so much of it has to do with and this has to do with anything, right? From a leadership position of being able to have the folks of the university with the athletic department, and then the board of trustees, the fund, all these people being in sync to work together in order to manage that and do that. And that's when you have an extremely successful recipe. And that's the recipe that Ian's been able to establish the support of everything and get everybody work together for the facilities, for the programs, for the kids, all those different things. So when you can get all that working together as one, these are the results.
Yeah, it's really fluid. And when you think about how many other schools, even Power 5, have not only an indoor football facility, but an multi-purpose, like for all these other teams. And I think that's why he made a good point about if you're coming out of high school, it's difficult to turn down ACC, SEC. But when you look at those transfers, I mean,
a really good point.
You're not going to get treated like that, like you do here at Liberty, at really a majority of other schools. And then you put the facilities and all of this other great things that Liberty has to offer on top of it. I mean, the future is bright.
Do you think he'll let us go to the facility and just kick the soccer ball around together?
I was hoping we could go run some routes in there.
We go run some routes, kick the soccer ball.
We'll see if we can get on the schedule. Get down the schedule. That'd be fun.
Okay, did you have one more comment?
No,
okay, so we are doing the new segment, as I mentioned earlier. Flame Central at liberty.edu. Send in whatever you want. It can be funny. It can be a question. It can be, like I said, whatever you want.
A
comment.
Every time it makes you smile. Remember you said in the Blues Clues?
Do it.
Mail time!
Was that It makes me want to wag my tail.
Mail time!
Does he have marbles in his mouth?
That's how he does it.
Never know. Well, I think he says it a little more clear than that. Matt Warner is going to be the leader of this segment. Hey, this is serious. You need to send in your stuff because you will get one of these Yacht Talk powered by Alcova Mortgage mugs. You would not be a Price is Right.
Keep in mind. So Joe, at the end of these questions, I'll ask him. Will I respond to them?
I don't know these questions.
Joe has not seen these.
I have no clue.
Emily's not seen these.
He probably stayed up all night writing them himself.
I've written them all myself.
How can I burn them?
Yeah. And then at the end, Joe will just determine which one was the best one and who earned the mug. Okay?
Great.
So we're all straight on that.
Oh, gosh.
All right, so let's start with question number 1. This comes from Robert D. I don't want to give their last name.
Robert D. in sunny
Robert
South
D.
Florida.
All right? He says, Joe, so this one was directly to you.
Great.
Joe, how many chili dogs did you consume at the Vienna Inn? I don't know what that's getting at. What that means.
That was personal.
He said, then if you know, you know.
This got personal.
So do we want to know?
No. Let's really know. Okay, so the Vienna Inn is a fine establishment in Vienna, Virginia, right, where I grew up. Okay, so that was my hometown growing up, and the Vienna Inn, owned by Marty Volk.
Oh, we don't have to go down there.
Marty Volk. We won't go down there. But so the Vienna Inn is most famous and well known for its chili dogs.
And how many did you consume?
And
You
there is
just completely ignored the question.
there was a time, right, many years ago, and it's probably helped me put on a few pounds throughout the years.
I was gonna say.
I like my.
Is that one right there?
I mean, she just poked me. I think one time at the Vienna Inn, I took down, I hate to say this, but 5 chili dogs.
Wow. Okay, so for the future segment, we are going to have a timer. And I'm going to say, and you have 60 seconds And
That's good.
if you don't get to the answer, like, then we move on. It's just going to be like PTI. We move along.
Here we go. All right, next question. Jason D. This one's not personal for Joe, so we can all respond to this one.
Okay.
Who do we think will start at quarterback this coming fall? Also, second question.
Great question.
Will Darius McGee leave as the all-time three-point leader in NCAA history? Let me answer that one first because no. The answer is no. Antoine Davis, who's first right now, is still playing at Detroit Mercy. So unless he got injured or something, it looked like second most would be the most Darius would ever
Second's
get
very
to,
doable.
which obviously is incredible. But so yeah, taking over the all-time lead, probably not going to happen. So who do we think will start at quarterback this fall for the Flames?
Who's going first on this one?
Who did we bring in again? I don't even know who's on this team.
I'm going to say,
Listen.
I
mean,
think we all agree
Salter-
Kaden Salter is going to get the first crack at it.
So, yeah.
And just in terms of high-end potential, what we saw, I don't know that he was totally right at the end of the year, or certainly the layoff hampered him, I think, coming back at the end of the year for those few games. I think back more to the guy we saw at Wake Forest, the guy we saw against Southern Miss. That guy, those are tools that you don't ignore. So that guy, if you can get him on the same page with the Jamie Chadwell offense, like that skill set is going to be hard to ignore. I think he gets the first crack at it.
You have to look at, okay, what does, and I haven't looked close enough at it yet, but I've watched him sort of on the outside.
Yeah.
What did Coastal do offensively with Grayson McCaw? Right? And so he did, I know big into RPOs, obviously, but he threw from the pocket a lot. So you can't look at a Jamie Chadwell offense and say, oh, they just want a dual threat. Now, Grayson McCaw was mobile. He could get around some, but he wasn't your classic dual threat guy. So the question is, how good of a pocket passer can Kaden Salter be in order to run this type of offense? And I think he is. I think Kaden Salter has a chance to be a really good pocket passer, but yet have the escapability to get outside the pocket and do things with legs. So I think, yes, unless the big name transfer comes up through the portal here, that it's going to be Kaden Salter.
Yeah, I think like Coach Freeze always said, he's the most athletic one in the group that Liberty has. Who comes in, I don't know. I think spring is going to be really important for Salter.
Yeah.
Trying to learn this offense.
You feel like he should take a stranglehold on the job in the spring.
He should.
He should.
Yeah, but I mean, who knows? What's the transfer portal like rules again of like how soon?
No, there's another. You can.
There's another
there's
wave,
still
right?
There's still some people that are going to be out there.
Right. Yeah. So I think we all say Salter and
Salter.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. Next question. Here's another. It's another quarterback question. A little bit more historical.
Okay. I know some Flames history.
Who is on the Mount Rushmore? This is from Will M. Who is on the Mount Rushmore of Liberty quarterbacks? And you like this? Is there a plan to construct an Alcova Mortgage billboard on top of Mount Rushmore?
Yes. Yes and yes. It's a great idea.
I threw together.
I feel like I don't know enough Liberty history for this.
I threw together a quick what my Mount Rushmore would be.
Okay,
and so you tell me if there's someone you would add or take away.
Yeah.
I think you have to put Malik on there, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, NFL draft pick.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Josh Woodrum led the Flames their first and only FCS playoff appearance.
Josh was good.
And he was very good. Robbie Justino.
Wow, I was wondering if you were going to know that one.
Beat Eastern Michigan. I believe he was, at the time, I think he set the all-time passing record for Liberty or held it at the time.
Held it for a long
and
time.
then the last guy who you kind of feel like Woodrum and this guy are going to get overshadowed a little bit, and I hate it, is Buckshot Calvert.
Buckshot!
How quickly, because Malik followed Buckshot, that you just hone in on Malik. Buckshot Calvert, he broke the passing. He said, he rewrote the record book for the Flames. So those would be my four. I guess if you're thinking other names people might bring up, I know Mike Brown was very electric at the quarterback position for a while, but I don't know that his body of work was enough to put him in this conversation.
Good old Buckshot.
Anybody else, Joe, that comes to mind that you remember?
Yeah, I mean, no, those are good. Those are good. I think you definitely, you got to have Buckshot on there.
Yeah.
You're going to have Malik on there. So those two are locks on the Alcova Mortgage.
Start carving out that stone.
Yeah, start carving out the stone for those two.
It is.
Yeah, and then I think Robbie Justino held the records, the record book for so long, right? I'm with you on that one. I think Robbie's that guy. And then honestly, the guy who they watch play. When you watch him play, if you go back and watch these guys actually play, that I think the fourth guy is Mike Brown.
Yeah,
I really do. I think Mike Brown was a incredible athlete. played really, really well, and just from a talent perspective and the way they led the team, I think Mike Brown was the guy. So
now
those
he's
are
like
my
the
guys.
associate head coach for Wisconsin. By the
Yeah.
way, he has shot up the coaching. ranks.
We're looking to go up there and do a story on him hopefully soon.
Oh,
All right,
really? That'd be
Final
great.
Final question.
Last
That
question.
trip, do you know what it's powered by?
Oh, thank you.
Final question,
final
and then we'll
question.
get Joe's winner.
Yes. Dan S. submits this, and this is one right in your wheelhouse too, Joe. You're gonna like this.
good.
Okay.
I'm really liking Mailbag.
Yeah.
Who
All
came
right.
up with this idea?
All right.
Me.
A couple years ago, here we go.
Of course
Ian McCaw and
Yes.
Liberty extended
Yes.
Richie McKay's contract
He did do
through
that.
2028. Actually, 3 straight years
you did.
they
Richie's
extended it.
outstanding. Young man.
Right. In Joe's opinion, in your opinion,
Yes.
isn't that more
Don't
equivalent
get jealous.
to securing a variable rate mortgage versus a fixed rate mortgage? Why not refi this amazing man and legendary coach and lock him in on the 15-year fix?
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I mean, that's a great point. That you don't want to go variable right now.
Yeah.
We're not going to go variable. That's not a great deal, right? And you didn't want to stay the 15-year fix. The 15-year fix can allow you to put the most money towards principal. And ultimately, from a coach's position, what are you trying to do?
Right.
You're trying to gain the most principal.
Yeah.
This isn't complicated, folks.
Yes.
Lock the man down to 15-year
Yeah,
fix.
there you have it.
Look
Great
where that
question.
question
There you
just
have it.
went.
Great
All right,
question.
which
Way
question?
over
All right, so
my
now
head.
you have to ask
Oh,
which
this
question
is hard.
I know.
wins the mug.
Well, you
Where's
can't
the
get 4
mug?
mugs a
Let's
week,
take out the
Joe.
chili dog one right now.
Why would you
That
do
was not a legitimate.
I was
that-
going to say you can take the boy out of Vienna, but you can't take the Vienna out of the boy. And
come
we're gonna go with the chili. But no, okay, I'm with you. On that. The chili. It's a great question.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Joe, make a decision.
Yeah.
Is that
All right. I'm gonna go with the Mount Rushmore powered by Alcova.
Mount Rushmore.
Those, yeah. Who are the Mount
Will.
Rushmore quarterbacks?
Will M.
Powered by
Well, you are the
Alcova.
winner.
I will reach out. We'll get your address. We'll
Yeah.
send you a mug. And congratulations.
And please take a mug shot with your Yacht Talk powered by Alcova Mortgage mug because we want to put it on the podcast as soon as we get that picture. So just email that back
And
in
keep the
to
questions
us.
coming.
Keep the
All
questions coming.
kinds.
This will be really
Those were
fun.
great.
We'll tighten it up next time and make sure that we got a
You
clock
know
to
what? You know what? You always say we're gonna tighten it up next time,
and we go
right?
longer.
and we never tighten it.
Yeah,
I
it's
know.
only getting longer.
Anything else you guys want to add? I apologize next week with whatever
Oh,
these
my.
two guys.
Prayers up for Emily
Prayers
on
up.
her trip.
Yeah.
Safe travels.
Thank you guys.
Have fun.
Thanks so much for
Don't-
watching and
Don't
listening.
worry. We won't miss you. I mean, I'm sorry, we'll miss you horribly.
I was going to tell you how you can get in contact with Joe Yacht.
Yeah, please do that. Go to the
but-
Google machine. Go to the Google machine and type in Joe, Jauch, Joe Yacht. Take you right to the website. Bam, boom, 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 boom. You apply. We're rocking. We're rolling. You're in your new house before you know it.
Yep.
Feet up on the couch.
And, it's the Flame Central podcast, and it's powered by Alcova Mortgage. Thanks to Joe and Matt. I'm Emily. We'll see you back here next week.